I know Sunshine's got a shoot soon, so I just wanted to run to him. He's got a few points to make regarding Man United. Go for it, bro.
Yeah, I'm all good, man. First and foremost, obviously, I hope you're good, man, and big up to the panel as well. Flipping out, United, man. Terry, look, I'm just gonna go off the things that you were saying because I think it's in line with your show, really. The Ten Hag out situation, that's the only thing we have to change, in my opinion. It's the only thing we can't repeat for every single manager is get them out the moment we hit a rock, because nothing changed. You know yourself, nothing's actually going to change and you with a new manager. The only thing that will be changing is, in my opinion, another layer of difficulties to go past. So, for example, I've got no issue getting rid of Ten Hag, but the next manager that comes in, I will be saying, give him 4 seasons, give him an Arteta run. And the reason I'll be saying that is because he's going to come in. We know Ten Hag brought Onana, we know he brought Anthony, we know he brought Mount for a specific system that he's trying to build. Well, if the next manager comes in and says, don't want Anthony, don't want Mason Mount, the way the club is run, we can't get rid of these players, not because the manager doesn't want them. We've seen it with Maguire. We've seen it with Pogba, keeping him on for extra amount of times. We've seen it with the Rashford, their new contract. We can't sell these players. So what we're going to do is add another layer of another bunch of players that don't suit the next manager's system. And why is that important? Because our club don't have an identity. So because our club don't have an identity, we then rely on the manager's identity. But no manager gets to finish his identity. So then he's then got to go and undo the next issue. And if it's going to continue to happen with every single manager, which you're right, by the way, absolutely right, for 6 years and more, then United fans need to soak up the idea that we are not big Man United no more. And if you're a genuinely United fan who want dominance, who want to succeed and go, I want my club back, then we have to then start looking at how do we get footballing structure back into this club. It cannot come from top to bottom. We know that. And like I said to you before in the space, Terry, the last manager that we had that was able to build the club from a managerial perspective was Ferguson. He took over the whole club. That's what ultimately, subconsciously, our fans are asking. We're asking for a manager to rebuild this club because we know it's not going to come from the top to the bottom. And if that's going to be the case, then the closest he's going to get to doing that, whether Ten Hag or a new manager, is at least 4 or 5 seasons where he can at least go and try and build something from a footballing standpoint with the issues. And we're never going to see that. So I'm sitting here going, this is Ten Hag's first bad patch in 18 months, which I still think is premature. And again, it's only premature for those who actually want to see us succeed. Or they can, like I said to you in the space, Terry, or they can concede the fact that we're not a big club no more. We've lost that status and title. And actually, these types of results are fitting for where we are right now. And then they can relax. There's 2 things. You can't have your cake and eat it. It's either we're not that club no more, so relax yourself and stop getting carried away with player this, player that, and go through the process. Or you can sit there on your high horse and go, no, I want big Man United back. Then you've got to understand how to go and build the foundation that allowed us to have that name of Big Man United, biggest club in the world. And once you know and understand how that can work, you then go to our owners and go, well, they ain't going to build that structure. So where's it going to come from? It's got to come from the ground up. So sadly, the manager's got to do it. Now, do not get me wrong. The manager's going to make mistakes. That's very normal. That's another thing Man United fans are missing, Terry. It is very, very normal to make mistakes as a manager. Yes, you can cuss him. Yes, I will sit there and go, mate, why are you playing Lindelof left back? No problem. Healthy conversations. But the biggest situation for me, I'm looking at it going, he's meant to make mistakes. Why is Man United the only club that is not allowed to make mistakes at? I don't understand that. Are we that desperate? Of course we are. But the reality of the situation, if you don't want to repeat of what we've been doing, then learn to sit through some bullshit. You're a successful guy, Terry. Has setting up the Terrace been the most straightest road in the world?
Sorry, say that again?
I said, you're a successful guy in what you're doing, what you've built. When you first started, was the road to success a straight and narrow road? Did you have to take some back school and go backwards a couple of steps?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, cool. And again, same with me in athletics and sport. You know yourself in kickboxing. You have to take steps back. You have to learn to be comfortable with that and learn from that. That doesn't mean we were ever null and void of criticism in our respectful places. You know, hell, I've had to sit there and cry in a fucking discus circle just because I ain't got a result and I can't do a fucking turn at the back. Like, I've been there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then I've gone and been an international athlete. I've done my thing. So all I'm saying is something has to change. And for me, being able to sit through a pile of shit, criticize at the same time, no problem. It's something United fans have got to get used to because we're not big Man United no more. And if we want to be successful, we need to stick it out for 4 seasons at least to try and get some football structure in place. And it's got to come from the manager upwards until we get new owners. And that's how it's going to be for every manager. So I'm not sitting here saying Ten Hag out, Ten Hag in. What I'm saying is, whether Ten Hag out or not, the next manager or the manager after that needs at least 4 or 5 seasons minimum to at least go and get a full squad where he can get rid of players off his own back to then say, right, okay, now I've got a good body of work to go and judge what you want to do. That's what I'm saying, bro.
Could I ask a question?
Go on, bro. I've got to shoot soon.
What do you see as the route out of this? You guys are in the gutter, mud, whatever. What's the route? What is Ten Hag? How do you think he gets out of this? Because you obviously think, okay, 4 or 5. How does he get out of this though? Like right here, right now. What can he
in
do?
my honest opinion, in my honest opinion, bro, the players have got so comfortable outlasting managers that it's normal for them, it's subconscious for them to go, I can down tools knowing I've still got my full wage, still got my full job. He needs to outlast these players and go, raw. If this club actually stands by this manager and goes, no, he's going to fix it, at some point, then players are going to go, shit, I've now got to start playing. And if not,
right,
he gets rid of those players as he does, and then he goes and replaces them season after season, and then the culture can reset. But until we get past that hurdle with any manager, which we haven't been able to do, where player power goes over the top and it's so easy for them to down tool, in my opinion, that it's going to continue to happen, bro. So that's the only way he gets out of it. And he's got to step up himself because he's been awful these past couple of games.
Yeah, I hear you. I want to bring Staffy in because I want to get his side on this as well. Everything you're saying, and there's a lot of people in the comments saying, Terry, see, don't be reactionary. This is what you should want. My thing is this, though. In reality, you're right. Sorry, in theory, you're right. In reality, they're not going to stick by him more than players. And what I think I want, when I'm sitting here thinking about it, listening to what you're saying, is if we keep doing this every time we bring a manager in, we think it's going to work, it doesn't. You get more people on board with, actually, we know what the real problem with this club is. We need to keep, I just don't see the Glazers changing if they're still making their money. So that change you're talking about comes from them. I don't see why they would suddenly change. So I get where you're coming from, but in reality, they're just not going
to... Terry, my point isn't that they change, it's that we as fans change. And that's why I said, change our expectations. You don't set yourself up for failure. That's why that's why I'm not sitting here going, we're big Man United.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Staffy, from your point of view, do you agree? Let's stick with the manager and see this through, remove the players. What's your take on that, mate?
I mean, I respect your opinion, AJ. I don't agree with it. I just, of course, it's your opinion at the end of the day.
Yes, sir.
But I don't agree with it for obvious reasons. I think this manager needs to go. I was here a couple weeks ago saying to give him time and all that, but I think I have seen enough to tell that we're going nowhere with this manager. And as much as I want to give him time, as much as I want him to prove me wrong, he will not prove me wrong. You know, I'm not here to rage or to yell or to do anything like with that. Last game was different because it was a derby and there's a bit more emotions. Today, did I expect us to lose? No, but am I surprised that we lost? Also, no. You know, because at this point, any game we lose now, I think now we lost 8 out of 15. We've won less than 50% of our games. So at this point, no one here, rival or supporter of Man United, should be surprised. But here's the thing. I understand that we failed multiple times, and we're here for about the 3rd, 4th time when we are saying we need to get rid of the manager, but then we're setting up the next manager for failure. This is where I'm different with you guys. I think I've seen enough to know that this whole idea of bringing in managers and bringing in a philosophy and giving them 3-4 years does not work under this team because we don't have the structure to help any manager with any philosophy succeed. We just have to write it out as it is. This is the club that we're at right now. We're nothing more than a short-term project team, a club. Every season, we just got to approach the season as it is. There's no more, let's look for the next 3, 4, 5 years, recruit all these players for a certain system because it doesn't work. We don't get, Danger, you said it perfectly. We don't get rid of players anyways for one reason or another. And I'm not going to discuss this right now, but us failing does not mean because I've seen in the past that managers failed that I got to stop doing that and just give this manager another few more years because I've seen enough evidence from him in transfer markets and in certain games. And in so many instances, I can sit here and give you a list of reasons why I don't think this manager is going to work. A lot of people today told me, because I said, I think the manager needs to go tonight. They were like, you know what? We're going to find ourselves in the same issue again. And you're going to be screaming manager out, but the Glazers are the main issue. I get that. But hear me out. The manager not getting his main targets, that's something I agree with. He didn't get all his main targets. The manager not getting the players that he wanted in January and when he got the loans in and when he wanted certain players like Frankie de Jong, when he wanted Kim Min-jae, when he wanted certain players, he didn't get them. I get that. But he's gotten enough players in to somewhat have some type of footballing style. When I watch the team today and I see nothing, once again, I'm not even going to sit here and blame Bruno. I'm not going to blame Rashford. I'm not going to blame Casemiro because I have seen enough mix and matching of these players to see that they're all playing crap. At some point, I need to put my agendas away and not focus on the players that I like and the players that I don't like. I know that all of them collectively don't know how to play with this manager. When all of you are bad, Neji rates some players that I don't rate. I rate some players that he doesn't rate. But all of them were crap today. You know why? Because the manager does not know how to implement a style of play with them. That comes down to some of these players being crap before he came in. I understand that. But some of them come down to his recruitment. Mount was on today. Anthony was on today. Casemiro was on today. These are players that he signed. And for everyone who told me you need better ownership to give him better players, I'm sorry, is Steve still here? I think Steve left. I was going to ask him, name me the players that we played against today. Because if you're telling me this manager needs Bellingham, needs Frankie de Jong, needs Kim Min-jae, give me a bunch of names because I'm not going to remember all of them. If you need these players to beat Jacob Murphy and I don't even know how to say the center back's name, the guy with his name starts with the K, the Baravka in goal. Livramento, who just came from Southampton, even though he's a good player. You're telling me I need my first option. I needed Harry Kane to beat this team. I needed Jude Bellingham to beat this team. I needed Kim Min-jae to beat this team. Just to wrap on my point,
just before I bounce,
I'm just going to wrap on my point. Go ahead.
Quick question to your point, to yourself. Do you think the issue is that we're looking at players in terms of how incredible they are as opposed to profiles? Because I don't care if it's a Frankie de Jong or a Harry Kane. I'm more focused on the profiles, and that can have any name on the back of the shirt. Does he have the profiles to be able to play how he wants rather than the players per name? That's the question.
I don't think he has all the profiles, but yet again, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at what he was trying to do, and Terry can vouch. Yeah. I sat here so many times after a bad performance. I said, guys, you gotta wait for at least some of his signings to be in for me to judge by something. And today, I'm sorry, Neji, we are getting out-muscled by I don't want to even be disrespectful to Newcastle fans. But some players
I remember you saying that, Staffy. I do remember you saying that.
Guys, some players are championship quality, and I'm sorry if this offends some Newcastle fans, but you know, every Newcastle fan, when they saw the lineup today, they were like, you know what? We're just in for the vibes today. Anyone who went to Old Trafford, you know what? We're just going to go chant Ten Hag is a fucking clown and leave, and that's a W for us. They didn't think they're getting the 3 points. Well, it's not 3
points.
Wait,
they played Gordon up top.
We had no strike on the field, bro. No centre backs either.
No
forward. No centre backs.
Staffy, just to back up your point, they played with Dummett. They started with Target. Willock was in the middle. Richie played on that right side of the attack.
Holy crap. They never started a Premier League game.
This is where Staffy is bang on. Hang on a minute. This is where Staffy is bang on. Because, yes, I would like to be as good as City. You do need the Kim Min-jaes, the Frankie de Jongs, the Harry Kanes. But we get outplayed by championship level players. We've been outplayed by Wolves, Sheffield United, Copenhagen. This is not listen, there are some players that are not good enough at Man United. But in my personal opinion, there's enough quality in there, if coached right, to play a certain system. They can beat these teams. How do I know it? Because for 6 months last year, we were a good team. We played okay football. We become Old Trafford for a year was a fortress. Something's gone wrong. And what he's done wrong this season, he's gone to the single pivot. He throws 2-8s up the pitch. We go man-to-man marking, and we just keep getting exposed. And the fact that he hasn't changed it, me watching these players, having watched many of them for many years, it's not right what they're doing, but they're doing what they've done before. They're going, this don't work. I'm down in my tools. And that's why this is why I agree with Staffy. I don't want to sack another manager. I want to ride through bad times. This isn't a bad run of form. This is the players saying, we don't like what you're telling us to do. We're not going to do it. Now, that isn't right in itself. But in reality, we know we're not changing the culture of this club with our owners and our board.
Exactly.
So the only remedy is to sack this manager. Otherwise, this continues. And we need
exactly.
I'm not saying it's even going to fix it. But it's the best of a bad situation for me personally.
If we change the manager, we won't win the league. That's not what I'm saying, because people keep telling me that the system is the issue. And I know that. I've sat on this channel many times, and Terry's been running this channel for years. Even though me and him don't agree on so many things, he always sat here and explained to you why we will never be successful under the Glazers. But two things can be right at the same time. I am not saying Ten Hag, with or without Ten Hag, we will be a title contending team. We will win the Champions League. That's not what I am saying. But I am the bar is so low right now that it's on the floor. Like there's nothing under it. All I am asking for right now is a manager that can play football, because this is a new low that we hit. When we were going out on Jose Mourinho and Louis van Gaal and Ole, it was mainly because we were like, you know what, we should be contending for trophies. We are not even in that debate anymore, because we're November 1st today. The league started in August, and I can't sit here and tell you how many games besides the one I watched. And I was like, you know what? I see what the manager's trying to do. I see the progress. I can give managers time if I see progress, but I don't see progress. I know we're going to go into January and he's going to get another panic sign. And then people telling me, wait until the summer and let him get more signings. I've already seen the proof that you have recruited badly. You know why I know that? Because I sat here as a nobody with no credentials in football. And I said, if we make certain signings, it will not work. But I got called negative. But then when I see it being displayed on the pitch, it has nothing to do with favorites anymore. I'm looking at it and there's nothing going on. These players are to blame, but at the same time, this manager brought enough players to have at least a style of play. You know why? Because I've seen Burnley have a style of play. I've seen Brentford have a style of play. I've seen every team we face this season, bar a couple, have a style of play, and they don't have our quality. What they have is they have an identity. They have an identity on the pitch. We won't have an identity as a club until the Glazers are gone. And that's when I could start entertaining the idea, okay, this is when we start going back to winning trophies. But winning in 90 minutes against a B team of Newcastle, against Sheffield, against Brentford, against Copenhagen, I don't need world-class players for that. I just need a manager who can implement a style of play. And he has failed. Let's just admit it. He has failed with this project.
I would, before I go, Safi, I would argue. Sorry, bro. Before you go, I would argue that you can't expect a system to play where you don't have the profiles to do it. That's just my standard opinion. And I believe a lot of people came
it's the
to
level, AG. And I'm not interrupting you, but it's the level.
Sorry, let me land.
If you're saying level,
let me land. What I'm saying to you, bro, is this has been a snowball effect. So maybe the first time we saw what Ten Hag was trying to do was probably against Tottenham in the first half. We're like, wow, we can see it. And we just didn't put a ball in the back of the net. Then you can look at the Arsenal game and go, probably could have taken 3 points there. Played well. Again, you're looking at part of the way through a season where there was potential. But you have to understand, right? And Terry will be able to vouch for this. When you start to play when you start to perform, just in general, and you have chances to capitalize on what you're performing, two things can happen. You either lose confidence or gain confidence. You can lose confidence by not getting the end result, by putting the ball in the back of the net and not getting the result. That can dampen how you feel and how you move forward. That can take away your belief within a system. Or you can capitalize, bag your goals, get some results under your belt and go, this is working. And it gives you a completely different mindset. Now, if we look at the situation of where Ten Hag's got himself into, it's been a snowball effect. Slowly but surely, it's got to the stage where players can't even turn up from minute one now. It used to be start of the game, 20 minutes, then a cameo in the second half. Now it's got to a stage where it's so low, they don't care. And the reason I feel it's got so low is not because of the unrealistic expectations, in my honest opinion, on this club, but because these players have been under many managers, and many times it's happened where they'll start very well, and when shit hits the fan, they don't be able to carry it over. Now it makes Ten Hag look worse than what he is. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not me saying Ten Hag is a golden gem. He's not. I've criticised him very, very fairly, very harshly this season. Very, very harshly. To the point where I was pissed and fuming. But what I'm saying to you is it's been a snowball effect to get to this stage. Now, that stage, it's got to get worse before it gets better. You mentioned the word progress. I don't know any level of progress that's going to be able to happen at this club unless, again, we as fans change our expectations of what is actually what we're capable of doing this season even with rival fans saying you're big Man United, scrap that, start again. Or it's a case of, no, I want to succeed again, but I'm going to have some patience and go through some hardship. We can't have both, bro, because the reality is killing us.
Yeah. I do understand that. I know we have obviously got other teams to talk about.
Of
here
course,
tonight
yeah.
as
I've got to
so
shoot as well. Thank you, Terry, man.
Yeah, I know. I just want to draw
Me as well, take care.
Draw a conclusion. Go. Do you think?
Yeah. And listen, I totally appreciate where you're coming from, but I just can't help or look at it from the point of view.
I speak for me and me only, bro. You know that.
No, of course you do. It's a rock and a hard place for me, and that is the painful element. We won't change long term until the owners have changed. But equally, I just don't think we can stick with the manager where the players aren't running for him. I just don't. And he's actually come out now and just said to Sky that, yes, we know this is not good enough. I have to take responsibility. I feel so sorry for the fans. Players will stand up. Maybe they are sticking together. You've seen they tried. You need to do this as a team. That's the only way. So the fact it's all those words. I've got to take responsibility. These are the types of things managers that know they are on their way out. For me personally, say. I know you got to shoot, Sunshine. Thanks for coming on, bro. I appreciate it. And we will speak to D-Man in a minute from his point of view as a new
guys, man. Enjoy, man.
Cheers.